This is a public service announcement calling all queens. So, good morning, welcome to this morning's coffee run. And I'm actually really excited. There's a whole kind of feeling in the air at the moment. Hey, Kelly. I think of massive expansiveness, of growth, of excitement, of definitely a bit of a revolution, I think. And this has kind of been bubbling away in the back of my head for a while. It's the types of things that I've been talking about for a really long time. But I guess what I'm really beyond excited about is you might have seen me post some new photos this morning. And I talked a little bit into it last night about the Queen Code. So I kind of wanted to talk with you a little bit about that today and how that even came about. Because I think something that's really important is for you guys to, number one, understand, like it's going to be really great. It's fucking awesome, actually. And I'll talk with you about it in a minute. But more importantly, the process I think that I've gone through and what I do on a daily basis to kind of come up with these different things and different ideas and the type of energy that I'm really going into this year with and that kind of picked up in December. So if this is resonating with you, please let me know and I'm going to be talking about that. So I guess one of the things that I've done for a really long time has been to, blend this mix of a real like left brain structure with the right brain creativity stuff. And I've been talking for years about alignment, and it's really been about how you position yourselves, right? It's about the energy that you turn up to work with, the energy that you turn up to your marketing with, the energy that you turn up to your clients with, and how everything that you need is kind of floating around up here somewhere, and it's just about you kind of tapping in and plugging in and getting going. So one of the things that I loved listening to, it would have been quite a number of years ago now, I reckon maybe even 5 years ago, was an Elizabeth Gilbert TED Talk where she spoke about the genius that lives in the wall and about how, all of our ideas are part of the collective consciousness. Don't know that she actually used those specific words, but words to that effect. And about how, your duty when you get presented with this idea is to freaking run with it, right? To kind of like grab that genius by the tail and harness that idea, that energy, that whatever those words, the song, whatever it was. She told a story in that TED Talk about a woman, I think she might have been a poet or an author, I can't remember, I feel like it was a poet, and she was out in the middle of a field and she could kind of feel the genius, if you imagine it kind of like the wind or the breeze kind of like bringing in this idea, and she tried to like run back to the farmhouse or whatever and start writing it and tried to capture it that way. So your genius, your ideas, your creativity will come to you in different places. What I find is really critically important actually is, for me, rather than doing the way that I've often done, so I have the strategy or the idea and then I go straight to the ones and zeros and then I allow more of the creativity to kind of come in. I've been playing with this, doing it the other way around, and far out. It's so exciting. It's even more aligned, and it's just really kind of fun, I guess. Hey Georgina, hey Catherine, good morning. Hey Jess. So I think that part of this, the way that I do it, and it kind of ties in with what I was talking about yesterday, but one of the big things that I'll do, and this is how Rebel with a Cause was born as well, was I was just sitting in my office. Actually, I've got a couch just over here. Georgina, it's my different phone. I'm really sorry. The other one's on like this one that I've been using is on like 2% and it's yelling at me. So sorry about the fan. We'll just pretend that that's my servants fanning me because it's so warm or something like that. I don't know. So where I was going with that is like what I've been playing with lately is having my journal and going, okay, so what is it that needs to come through me today? I'm a really big believer in the collective consciousness. I'm a really big believer in the fact that we've got right from the top of our crown, the whole way plugged in right down through the bottom of our feet. We're completely connected to source, God, universe, higher conscious, your higher self, whatever it is that you want to call it, right? Each to their own, there's no judgment around that. But I believe that we are connected energetically to something, bigger than us. We're part of a bigger overall thing. And so what I've been playing with is like, okay, cool. So what is it that I need to download today? What is it that needs to actually come through me today? And if you imagine that you're like a hollow piece of bamboo and you're just the conduit for whatever it is that needs to come down. So that's how, like, I was just journaling over on my couch over here a few weeks ago, and I was kind of like writing to myself, right? And this idea for Rebel with a Cause came out. I was just like, yeah, bang. So we launched that, got exactly the number of people in there that I'd written in my journal that I would have loved, right? So that's kind of hilarious. But then the second thing, I guess, like what's sort of been a little bit interesting about that process is that the registrations closed on Monday. And the Friday before that, I was starting to feel a little bit anxious. It's like, okay, so we've got this thing starting on Monday. That's really great. I'm so freaking pumped and excited. That goes for 7 days. Where's the next idea? Hurry up, hurry up, hurry up. Where's the next idea? How am I going to be able to make that turn in? I got a little bit, about it. Because I'm doing things in a different way, I'm not doing these, I'm not running courses at the moment, like they go for 8 weeks and then they go for another 8 weeks, how I've done typically, or for a really long time since 2012. So I was sitting down on Monday and I was like, oh, come on, for fuck's sake, just hurry up and download, come on. I got really impatient and I needed to actually just kind of walk away. And then the next day, it all just kind of came flooding out. And what I started writing, and it kind of evolved and morphed as I was writing it. So if you guys want to check out the page, I'll just put it in here. Hey Gary, good morning. So the copy that is on the page that you'll see when you're looking at the URL there, which is nicolamoras.com.au/queen, I was writing to you guys, right? I was writing to, and I spoke a little bit about this in one of the training sessions that I did the other day, where, who are the people that you want to be able to call in? Hi, Elise. And I was writing about the limitless woman. Now, to me, the limitless woman, this thing is actually, I'm being really specific, right? Like there might be a couple of amazing guys that kind of come on through because, guys are awesome too, but this really kind of feeds into this, claim your freaking crown, get out there, stand up and really own your freaking space without fear, without worry, without trepidation, really kind of just harnessing that queen energy. But I hadn't got to the queen bit yet, so rewind back a bit, Nicola. So in the limitless bit, it's like the limitless woman is someone who is expansive, she is personal growth, she is not afraid, she is fearless. She's got a great freaking wardrobe. She's amazingly healthy. She's got a great relationship, a freaking hot as fuck relationship actually. She is creating amazing content. She has got the best, most amazing clients who she gets tingles when she works with them. This is a woman who is like, yeah, you know what? I might be a little bit afraid, but I'm getting out there and doing it anyway. This is someone who leads with grace, with wit, of course, and humor because, life's too short to be fucking serious all the time. She is someone who is leading with compassion and fire, and she's fiercely freaking passionate about the work that she does, about the message that she has, about the things that she is here to do, and she will stop at nothing to achieve that, whilst not hurting people in the process, right? But it's all about about all of that. And I just kind of like, it's really kind of this freaking benevolent queen who is sitting on her throne. And incidentally, I call this my queen chair, and that's why I do the lives here. It's really about her embracing her entire queendom and not kingdom, queendom, and ruling that with all of those elements and really deciding to freaking claim it, put that stake in the ground. This is what I'm here to do. This is who I'm here for, and this is how it's going to be, right? Now, what's really kind of curious about that is that I started playing. It's like, okay, so the Limitless Woman, this is really, this really gets my engines running. This is fucking hot. And it's like, okay, cool. So what then would I be teaching? And I started writing out, what this kind of looks like. And I realized that there's a whole lot of stuff that I've learned over specifically the last 9 years since being in this business. There's a lot that I've learned, and there's a lot that I do literally on a daily basis that I kind of forget about. Right? And so when I was writing, it's like the Queen Code. It's like the code of success. It's the code to having an epic relationship. It's the code to everything. And so I started writing down what it was that I would want to teach. But that came after the kind of the types of person or the types of women that this is really kind of geared for, right? And so in this, it's like, well, you know what? I have to talk about the energy part. Now, some of the stuff we talk about is really freaking hilarious. I was talking with some clients the other day, and I'm like, you guys need to go do that clearing. You need to go and do that energy clearing. So it's like, some of the work that we do is kind of like Reiki, but on freaking steroids. And I believe that we're incredibly spiritual beings. And we also need to exist in the human world, though, right? So I believe that business is as much about your emotional being, your mental being, your physical being, your creative being, but also your spirituality as well. And the more clear we can be energetically, the easier it is. I spoke about this the other day. The easier it is for us to raise our frequency and start creating and manifesting the stuff that we want, whether it's money, relationships, time, experiences, places, people, whatever it might be, whatever your goals are in this world. So it's like, how can I can't hold that back. That has to be in there because it has created such a profound impact on my business, on my energy and the way that I can download information and communicate it, but also on how I feel energetically. So it's like, well, how can I not include that? And then there's the journaling part and then the manifestation piece that I've been using for years. And then obviously all of the businessy stuff with, well, how do you use all of this to communicate and get yourself out there in a really powerful freaking way that feels great? And then it's like, okay, that's great. So how do we make money from all of that? And so, that's all the kind of stuff that I was furiously writing in my journal, which is how the Queen Code really kind of became about. But I think the most important thing is that this process isn't unique to me necessarily. It's, it's how people have been doing things for years. But the problem is that in this day and age of business, we've been really freaking dumbed down. It's like, just follow this process, follow this blueprint, follow this, 1 + 1 is 2, self-help programs at $10,000 and make $100,000. We've been fed the whichever one, the red pill or the blue pill, the one that keeps us stuck. I forget which way around it is. But it's like we've been fed that, and we've been led to believe that it's all easy. And on one hand, it's like follow the bouncing ball, Or on the other hand, it's like just sit there and manifest and visualize what it is that you want. And if you focus hard enough, it'll all come through. Well, no, like that is a very ungrounded way, in my opinion, ungrounded way of manifesting. I do believe we need to work. I do believe you need to implement. You do need to do the things that you need to do in order to be able to communicate and connect with your audience. So that was the process in which the Queen Code was created. And, it's just, to me, it's just freaking exciting. So what I spent some time doing yesterday was creating a bunch of the imagery, the sales page, and everything else. So you guys should be able to see that in there, I believe. The other thing that kind of came up and out of that was, okay, so, what does the next part of this look like? How much is it? How long does it run for? And that type of thing. So I've kind of gone, you know what? I'm a huge fan of numbers. I love numbers. So one of the numbers that I've talked about a lot is the number 528. So I've spoken about this since probably 2014 in different forums and in different ways, shapes and forms. So 528 is the frequency of love. So you can go and play I think the place that I tend to play is called solfeggio harmonics, and you can play the music that is being played at the frequency of love, so 528. So it's like, okay, I really love that. So why don't we do something around that? 5 modules over 28 days. Play on those numbers. I love 1111. I love 1528. I love all of these numbers. They're really significant in the different ways that things come through. So that was one of the reasons why it's like, okay, well, it has to be 5 main topics and it has to run for 28 days. So we could go and, take this way of doing things. And to me, that's really like, I didn't question it. It was just, this is what came pouring out of my pencil into my journal. So I just know that this has to be done. The other way that we could do it is go, okay, so I'm going to run an 8-week thing. We're going to start on this date and we're going to do A, B, C, D, E and, get about marketing that and ones and zeros it. Now, for some people, that works really well. For you, though, and I imagine that this is exactly how you are, you're creative. You probably thrive on some variety. You probably thrive on some spontaneity. You probably would love to know that, you've got maybe a bit of a framework. And Jess, I know you're probably sitting there going, so you've got the framework of, okay, great, this is what it's all about. But then being able to go, okay, let's just kind of free flow and see what happens when we start talking. Let's see what happens when I start writing. Let's see what comes up and what the message is that needs to be said today. So to me, I believe that we are all more than worthy of creating a freaking limitless life, a limitless business, a business that affords us the things that we want, whatever that might be, without guilt, without shame, without second guessing, without feeling like you're being a freaking entitled bitch, by the way, but more, it's like, this is what I'm deciding that I am worthy of, and we're able to actually consciously create in a really kind of badass way your ultimate queendom. To me, the queendom is the elements of everything. It's your people, it's your content, it's the business, it's your relationships, it's the children, it's the experiences you have, it's the places you go, it's the people you see. Hey, Leanne. And that's really what a queendom is to me. So if you're wanting to create something like that, then you're in the right place, and it's just a matter of you claiming it, you putting on that fucking awesome crown of yours and taking that stand and really using that to be able to get out there, because you are amazing. You are worthy. You are deserving. You are, you're deserving of everything everything that you want to create, because you are all about helping the people around you. You are all about helping the people around you achieve their potential, whether it's your children, whether it's your clients, whether it's your students, however it is that you do that. So that's that to me. Now, what's really curious, and I'm going to share this last little bit with you. So my husband and I have been together for, I think we worked out, it's really funny, 15, 16 or something, 16 years, I think. And we are, it's really kind of funny. We were talking about this topic of soulmates on the way to the Barossa last weekend. We went up in a hot air balloon last weekend, so we drove down there last Friday. And we were talking about this subject of soulmates, and I said, you know what, do you believe in soulmates? He's like, well, you know what, I don't know that I do. And I said, what? You know, how could you not think that I am not your soulmate? Like, what the actual fuck, are you serious? And he's like, no, like, but what if, you know, how do you know that there's only one? And I'm like, Dom, I'm astounded that you would even say that. So it was a really great conversation, right? But the reason that I was kind of talking about that, and one of the reasons I brought it up, was I think that, you know, that we go through phases and stages, and my husband and I go back for maybe 4 years ago. We were divorcing. Well, I was divorcing him. He was a little bit slow on the uptake. I was done. You know, we were both going different paths. I wanted to kind of like go this way, and he wanted to go this way, and we were both really actually unwilling to kind of like meet each other halfway. And it wasn't until we got to the point of me saying, you know what, I'm actually done, and he said, well, we should probably go get some counselling, and I was like, ship sailed, babe. You know, I'm just done. I'm just done. It was really hard. You know, it's really interesting growing a business that, and you guys know this, you know, having a business is the most, it's the craziest personal development course process that you could ever possibly go through, because you have to deal with your shit. You have to. You can't be successful without going through upper limit problems and working through your stuff. And I do it on a daily basis, usually multiple times per day. And it's stuff that I often talk with you guys about in the morning, because I process it and it's like, okay, cool. Well, if I've been through that, then you can probably learn from this. But anyway, so we're at Splitsville. And Splitsville is not a very nice town. There are angry little bunnies that live in Splitsville, and there's lots of tension and earthquakes, and you know, it's just yucky. And I said to him, I said, well, look, you know what, we can go, but I don't actually think it's going to do anything. So we went, and I was angry for a really long time for many, many, many different reasons that we won't go into today. But anyway, fast forward, you know, four years later, and we're actually more in love with each other. And I'm not just saying that, you know, he's particularly demonstrative about this, which is really funny. He's the most demonstrative he's actually ever been. You know, than what we've been in this whole entire time. But part of this, and this is what I absolutely believe to be true, and this is the power of you kind of putting on your crown, going, this is what I'm deserving of, and this is how I'm going to be. And it's not about being rigid, right, and not compromising. This is where we can lead with grace. We've also got to allow the space for other people to lead as well, right, and to be able to bring them up. But I guess where I'm going with that is that a huge part of the way that we are now is because I've written about it in my fucking journal, my amazing journal. You know, I've been writing relentlessly about the kind of relationship that I want, about what I want him to say to me, about how I want him to be, and about how I want to be actually as well. And it's all just like bang, 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 coming through. So, you know, part of your queendom is really about claiming the kind of life that you want, the kind of business that you want, the kind of clients that you want, the kind of energy that you want, the kind of experience you want, the kind of content you want to create and deliver. Doing things in a way that's really beautifully aligned and mirrors and ripples out into every single area of your world, from money to energy to relationships to children to your food to your health to everything like that. So that's what the Queen Code is all about. So that's that pretty much for me today. As you can tell, I'm really fucking excited about it, and I'm so thrilled that the people that come through that you guys that'll come through that you are, you're just so freaking ready. There's lots of many different ways that you can invest. You can see them all in there. I've made it as simple and as easy as I possibly can. There will be some ones and zeros stuff in there, of course, like ads and funnels and that kind of stuff, because I think that is a huge part of it, but that's not the main focus of this. So bang for alignment, baby. High five for alignment and for getting rid of the shackles holding you down and just being able to fucking fly like the queen that you are. I'll talk to you all tomorrow.